I'm sure all of us would have experienced this at some point in time. When you keep open cookies or chips for a long time, they tend to become soft and lose their texture. Or for that matter, crust of the bread becomes harder. What is responsible for this? In food science, we have a concept called as water activity. Water activity is given as fugacity of solvent in a solution to fugacity of pure solvent under standard temperature and pressure. So fugacity is nothing but how easily a molecule can escape from a solution mixture. At constant temperatures and low pressures, water activity becomes equivalent to relative vapor pressure, okay, which is nothing but ratio of vapor pressure of a solvent in a solution to vapor pressure of pure solvent. The error value between relative vapor pressure and water activity is so low that you can substitute one for the other. So if you know the value of equilibrium relative humidity, then we get relative vapor pressure, which is nothing but your water activity. So how does it all relate to cookies gaining water? Cookies generally have low water content. So when placed in an environment which has high relative humidity, there is movement of water from area of its higher concentration to area of its lower concentration till equilibrium is reached. Meaning, cookie absorbs water from air and becomes soggy. This is precisely the reason why we make use of airtight containers to store cookies once opened. Similar is true for foods that have high moisture content than surroundings. For instance, let's take cookies example itself. In few countries, especially the Northern America, people prefer to have cookies that are moist. So, if cookies have higher water content than the surroundings, they tend to lose water to the surroundings, making the product dry. As texture is important parameter for consumers, we can prevent this in one of the following ways. We can make use of appropriate storage rooms or containers. Okay, containers is very easy because you're making use of airtight containers, so there is no movement of water from the container to the atmosphere or vice versa. The second one is to ensure that the storage room has appropriate relative humidity. Okay, we can also make cookies that have water activity similar to the relative humidity of environment in which it is stored. But what is the problem with this? We need cookies with desired texture. And if you make cookies that have water activity similar to relative humidity, it may not be always desired by the consumers. Sometimes we see that even though food products may have similar water content, some perish faster than the others. So what is responsible for this? Again, water activity is responsible for this behavior of food. Food is made out of lot of molecules. It can be ions that can readily interact with water, or fat or oil that does not like to interact well with water. All these molecules form varying degree of bonds with water. If the compounds are bound tightly to water, as in case of ions, the water cannot support any sort of chemical or microbiological reactions. Therefore, the spoilage is slower. On the other hand, if water is bound loosely, as in case of fat-rich products, spoilage is quicker. So we can use this concept of water activity to extend the shelf life of food products, as companies want to produce food products that have longer shelf life for economic reasons. Thank you for staying with me through the video. In case you have any queries, please feel free to put them in the comment section and I'll get back the earliest.